Hello and welcome to Cherries Red Army and our latest fan stream here on YouTube. Got Aaron, Matt, John with me this evening. It's good to have you guys back on YouTube. Do get involved. This is an interactive stream and let's get your hellos in the chat already. So since we've been away, we're still in an unbeaten run. We got that win against Everton, which was a massive 1-0 at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Rayan is settled in very quickly. So who is Semenyo? We don't need to worry about it right now. And of course, we've got West Ham coming this weekend. 5:30 kickoff at that terrible stadium, London Stadium. We've also got, with popular demand, guess the players back tonight. So we'll get involved and you'll be able to guess the player on this one. But first of all, we've had a massive push here in the last week. In the last 8 days, we've gone through some ridiculous stats here on Cherries Red Army. So this is where I wanted to start it. Let's show you an image on the screen. And what you'll see is the stats coming through on Cherries Red Army for the last 28 days. Green everywhere. We are going up in numbers of views. Subscribers have gone up by 66, over 30 in the last 8 days. 336 likes. Thank you for your support. Subscribers, interestingly, of the viewers currently watching, there are still 44.4% of you out there that are not subscribed. Do subscribe. And if you are watching and you're not a subscriber this evening, subscribe. Within 5 minutes, you can interact in the chat with other fans. United Kingdom takes the way with regards to views by nation. But Aaron, there seems to be a new flux of fans coming from somewhere else. Where are they coming from, Aaron?
Brasilia. That was made up. That was made up, Portuguese or whatever it is. Yeah, 13.8%. I mean, that's pretty good, isn't it? And we obviously know why that might be. I think you probably might need to start putting Brazilian subtitles on, Kirk, to all of your shows. But no, look, we know how passionate the Vasco da Gama fans are about Rayan, and obviously keenly following his next footsteps. And he started on fire. So, yeah, I mean, only 33 since Everton. I mean, there's a lot of Brazilians out there. So let's try and get those numbers right up. And thousands of you come and join us.
Yeah, I had to translate, John, some comments from the Everton vlog because obviously it came through in non-English, so I had to translate them. But all positive. A lot of Vasco da Gama fans that are now switching or following the Cherries as well.
Yeah, it's great news for us. Lovely to be back on the show. And it's I love Aaron ingratiating himself immediately with the new 13.6% of fans by making up some Portuguese.
Can you translate that, Aaron, please?
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's. I mean, it's funny because we as Bournemouth fans kind of know exactly what this is like, because I mean, how many of us have been paid extra special attention to Ake when he went to City, celebrated Solanke's goals for Tottenham as long as they're not against us, which thankfully he hasn't yet, I don't think. And obviously Semenyo most recently. So we know exactly what it's like to have a valued player leave, but it's even more so obviously with Vasco being given that Rayan is a Vasco kid through and through. So even his father played for Vasco, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's great to have so many more people keeping an eye on the channel and our videos.
And Matt, I suppose just like on the pitch and following the Cherries, you'll have peaks and you'll have troughs, and it can happen with YouTube. We'll have small lifts in views and subscribers, and then this week has just gone absolutely bananas. And it's good for us. It's good for the Cherries, and in such a positive moment, there's every reason to smile at the moment.
Yeah, there is. I mean, on the pitch, we've got every reason to smile, and with recent form. With players like Rayan being attracted to the club, coming into the club and doing their stuff. So performing, hitting the ground running really so early into his career with the club, with the team, has been phenomenal. And that translates on this channel really, doesn't it? You obviously, more people really want to watch and listen and contribute when things are going well on the pitch. It's often the way. We all want to say our piece when things aren't so good, but it's great. And you want to watch everything and read everything, don't you, when things are going well? So it does have a knock-on effect, which has helped massively. And it's just great to have all the new subscribers, the new viewers here with us, whether they're from Brazil, America, anywhere, Australia, New Zealand, wherever they are in the world. They're all welcome. And it's great to have them and great to be part of this.
So a great start to Cherries Red Army on this stream. Thank you so much to everyone who follows us, hits the like button, subscribes and supports us in any way you can across all platforms that we're currently on. So we'll get on the stream this evening, then let's do it. But let's first recap that latest fixture in the Premier League. It wasn't the performance we wanted, similar to Aston Villa, but what was different from the Aston Villa game is we got the win, and it was absolutely massive at the end in Liverpool. Hello and welcome to Cherries Red Army and our latest matchday vlog. We're in Liverpool to play Everton at the Dickinson Stadium for the first time. It's really important for me that we do something in this fixture. A performance, of course, we always want a positive one, but to get that win.
Yeah, it'd be good to see Chalk play, see what he can do, and obviously we got the Brazilian wonder in the team, so hopefully a good game.
I think today's a big game. Not in we might get relegated or anything like that, but if we win, we could be 8th. If we lose, we could be 14th. I think today defines where we're going with the season. I think if we lose, it could just peter out into nothing, and I think if we win, you know, who knows where we could go. So I think it's a big game.
So first real chance in this game now for Everton from the penalty spot. There's only 8 minutes gone in this second half, but we probably should be 2-0 down.
To tell you who it is, it's the Brazilian, it's the real king of Brazil, Rayan. Oh, yes! That's in! That's in! And just like that, I didn't see it coming, I'll be honest. Adli, header, 2-1 to the Cherries. 6 unbeaten.
And that win took us to 9th, back inside the top 10 and 3 points behind Brentford, who are in 7th. Matt, big win, first win at the Dickinson Stadium, sets us up nicely for the next 12 games coming. And it was just really important that we got the job done.
Massive. Yeah, I think Mark knocked it on the head really in your vlog there with what he said. I think it was one of those games, not necessarily pivotal to our season in terms of us getting into a relegation scrap or even challenging for Europe, but it just in the direction that we were heading for the rest of the season. I think with the good run of form that we've suddenly found ourselves on, this was a big one, wasn't it? After really letting 3 points slip against Villa, where we dropped 2 points. Let's be honest, we should have won the game. Before the game, we would have taken that point, boys, wouldn't we? 1-1 home to Villa. But on reflection, we should have won the football match. So then you're going into Everton away, always a tricky game, tricky place to go, Dickinson or Goodison, wherever it is. And we needed a result, didn't we? We really needed that win to really kick on. And you look at us now in 9th place. And I know I joked last time, I think on the last stream, saying Europe's back on, boys, isn't it? But it really is in a way. It really is. I mean, there's still like you say, 12 games to go, and we do find ourselves in a strong position. I think it was exactly this time last year that we faded. We went on a poor run of form after being on such a fantastic run of form. And that meant that the European challenge faded, didn't it? Sort of late February onwards. It's the opposite this season. It feels like we've had our bad patch, we've had our bad run of form, and now we can look to kick on and maybe go on a good run from now towards the end of the season and pick up as many points as we can. And as Mark said in the vlog there, who knows where that can take us. But yeah, it was a pivotal win because I couldn't see it coming. As you said, Kirk, on the vlog, I couldn't see it at half-time. I thought this is a bit of a non-performance here. We haven't turned up. We haven't offered anything. They don't look that great either. There was nothing in the game really, was there, until the penalty gets given. You go one down. And at the start of the second half, I worried again because we didn't come out of the blocks. firing, and we should have been 2 down. Let's be honest, they missed big opportunity to make it 2-0. And you're thinking, God, we do well to come out of this with a point. We really will. And the turnaround was just phenomenal. Won it out of nowhere. Suddenly we're 2-1 up. They're down to 10 men. They actually looked better with 10 men. I thought they threatened more with the 10 men, and we made hard work of it in the end, boys, didn't we? Really, but yeah, it's a hell of a result. And how many times this season have we been on the wrong end of that, where we should have come out with more points than we've got, and it worked the other way this time. So it was great to see.
It was Mark in the chat, Matt, says, don't say the E word. And I think it was St Mary's last season when we got that win. And I think it was the run after that where it all went a little bit wrong and tailed off. Now, John, for a game and a half against Everton, we were poor. And I can remember the home game at Dean Court, which was the most uncharacteristic performance I've seen under Andoni Iraola. We didn't look like scoring. I think we could have been there all night, and we didn't even look like really hurting them. And David Moyes got the fixture he absolutely wanted. What was good to see, and like Matt says, there was a crucial interception by James Hill early in that second half, but very quickly after that, Andoni rung the changes. I think you got Krupi on, which was a different dynamic of attacker, took even Nielsen off, brave, losing the fixture. But it was Andoni that made those changes and got us back in the fixture, and then we turned it around.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about that is that you would arguably say that at least one of those changes probably had a negative effect on the team. I think we all know who I'm talking about. Enes was not in form for that game at all, which is a shame because he's getting 5 minutes at the end of matches most of the time at the moment, so he's barely able to influence the game. And in this match, where for most of the time he was on the pitch, we had an extra man, and he was our out ball when we were under pressure. He just didn't keep hold of the ball, and it was very, very frustrating because I really want him to do well, particularly after recovering from his injury. And you know, if he, I would hazard a guess that he's probably going to leave either permanently or on loan in the summer, because before he got his injury, there had been noise about the fact that he was disappointed with the amount of game time he was getting. He's certainly not going to be that happy with it at the moment. But when he was given a little bit more of an opportunity, he wasted it. Krupi didn't have a huge impact either, by all accounts. But I suppose what you would say is that Evan Nelson needed to be coming up earlier than he has been so far, because there's no doubt that the game time on him is going to be taking a toll. And Alex Tort is new to the team. It's an interesting one because most recently there's actually been a fair amount of talk online about how Bournemouth have scammed Real Madrid and PSG out of money because of Howson and Zabani in particular being quite a Thor guy. But Tort, I'm looking just like given 6 to 12 months, and I'm sure he'll improve. I've got no doubt about that. I want to see more of him, and I'm sure there's a brilliant technical footballer in there to impact us. But what is fantastic about the game is just the fact that we weren't great, but we won. And how many times has that happened this season? Pretty much never. And looking back, just to have a look at when the reverse fixture was against Everton, that was right in the middle of our worst, of our terrible patch. And the frustrating thing about that game was obviously we'd just come off the back of a 4-4 draw against United and a 0-0 draw against Chelsea, 2 decent results, with a load of confidence, thinking like, right, let's take it to these guys. And it was a dreadful performance. There's just something about Everton, isn't there? Particularly when you consider last season's league fixture at Goodison as well, when we only played for 5 minutes in that match as well. So you just get through it, you know. And the brilliant thing is our league position, we're so comfortable now. It's 37 is pretty much guaranteed to keep us up, I would imagine, at this point. Not that we're looking down, but when things were starting to look awkward, we've hit exactly the patch of form that we needed. And Iraola's, you know, got us playing again. And you know, full credit to him.
And similar, Aaron, not as bad, but similar. We've got a squad that's got some significant injuries. No Clivert, no Gannon Doak, no Tavernier, and Tavernier was playing very, very well before he got injured. But let's talk about someone who is playing very well before we move to the Brazilian superstar, and that's Adli. And this is a guy, Aaron, who took a while to get up and running, struggling to adapt maybe to the culture, similar to Diakite, but he's got a chance probably by default to get a run in the team. And now he's starting to score goals late on at Dean Court, and he got a crucial winner at Everton as well.
Yeah, look, I think with it, Adli, I think we can all agree that his work rate is outstanding. His defensive work is really, really good, actually. And, he does a lot of off the ball defensive work, helps out as fullback. He's surprisingly good in the air, a bit like Dango, who had a great leap, but he's obviously a lot skinnier and not as physical as Dango, but he does get in the air and leap really well. I mean, he won the flick on for the winner against Liverpool before he actually scored the winner himself. And, obviously with that out ball from Petrovic now, without Semenyo on the pitch, he's actually the one that they're targeting to win it in the air. And more often than not, he does, which is really impressive. I think the thing he's been lacking since his run in the team, or since he's really come into the squad, is his final ball, his final delivery, and also a bit of confidence to take his man on. We've seen he can do it, and he's been playing on the left, so he very rarely just goes on the outside on his left foot and takes a player on. Which I've got no problem him doing that in their final third. He loses the ball, then so be it. But sometimes give it a go, and sometimes it's a bit too safe. But as you say, the goal against Liverpool, the goal against obviously scored against Sunderland a few weeks ago, and then the goal against Everton, the winning goal. So the two winners against two Merseyside teams should give him a whole host of confidence. The question is now, is he going to stay in the team? I think he certainly should for now, but how long is that going to last? Rayan is probably nailed on one of the positions at the moment. Tavernier, by all accounts, isn't that far away. If he's not back for West Ham, he should definitely be back for the Sunderland game. And we know how much Andoni loves Tavernier and how integrally important he is to the team. So obviously Brooksy's back fit, but for me, Adli's ahead of him at the moment. But I think, it's a winning team. It's an unbeaten 6 games, and he just fully deserves his run in the team, and he can only grow. And as they say, the more minutes players like him get, the more chance he has to grow into the team. But yeah, he's definitely growing on me.
Ben in the chat says, weirdly, seeing Adli with his little one, sorry, in post-match chat. Maybe I thought he was going to say little run. Then that's what I was looking at. Made me feel good, like he was getting proper settled. I think plenty more to come. Actually, I really liked his post-match, the way he was just thinking about the club, thinking about the fans, thinking about how a positive moment is for absolutely everyone. So yeah, I think he come across really well, Ben, in his interviews. And Matt, I think Aaron's hit it spot on the head here. I think that it's confidence. In capital letters, this guy is thriving in confidence now.
Yeah, it took him a while to get confidence and adjustment. I think they're the two words, aren't they? Adjustment to the country, the league, gaining confidence and momentum with his performances. Nobody ever questioned really his attitude or his work rate, his application, anything like that. I don't think anybody's ever questioned that. He just wasn't producing the goods and the numbers in the final third that we need him to do if he's going to be a starter in this team. We can't carry any passengers. We never have been able to, particularly with the way that Andoni plays his football. We can't do that. So he's starting to do that. Delighted to see it. Really am delighted to see it. I think he's been phenomenal. He's really contributed massively in the last few weeks. He's got some headaches now, Andoni, and with Tyler Adams coming back as well, because that's another big player that we've missed for a good couple of months now. So he's got some selection headaches, and I was surprised that he actually left Lewis Cook out of the starting 11 against Everton. I'm not sure really what the reason was for that, because I did feel like he was beginning to bed in and really stamp his authority in the middle of the park in that number 6 role. But it's almost making way for Tyler Adams' return, isn't it, really? I think he's experimented a little bit with Alex Scott in the 6, bringing Alex Taut in as well. But there's no question, I don't think, that when Tyler Adams is fully fit, he comes back in to that 6 role, because he's been so pivotal to how we play in that role over the season, really, so far. So some headaches to come with Tav coming back as well, David Brooks. So it bodes really well, doesn't it? The fact that we've gone on a 6-game unbeaten run, and
that's what we want a good coach to have, though, don't we?
Yeah, of course we do. Yeah. Selection headache is exactly what we want. It didn't work.
Christie's the other one. Christie's the
another
other
one.
You know?
Yeah, he's the other one.
He
didn't
he's now
actually
hitting
work
the form he was last season.
Yeah,
isn't he?
he is. Yeah, so that's where do you fit these players in? And it's great headache for Andoni to have. Unfortunately, it didn't work in our favour, boys. Did it last season? We were down to the bare bones and went on that phenomenal run that we went on in sort of December, January with 11 fit players at times, and then when everybody started to come back fit, they didn't quite bed in and we lost a bit of momentum and a bit of rhythm. It disrupted us actually. So I'm hoping it'll have the opposite effect this time. But yeah, it's been phenomenal. And as far as Adli's concerned, he's a young lad as well, so young. So he's still learning the game. He's learning everything about the game as a professional footballer in this country in the Premier League. So much more to come from him. And another sound investment, I think, from the recruitment team.
Yeah, and very quickly as well, John, because I know that the fans are going to want to move on and talk about the Brazilian superstar, but Steve was meant to be with us this evening, couldn't make it, but he does want us to mention James Hill, who again was pivotal to that Everton win. £1 million from Fleetwood, and you got to keep playing this guy while he's in form. I did say on a recent video that I'm not sure where the long-term sort of places for James Hill and whether it's just this run of form that he's in or whether he can kick on and become even better. I don't think he's as glamorous as Sabani. I'm hoping I'm not doing him a bit of disjustice here, but he's not as technically as good as Senesi. But what he is he's very effective, and he's helped us sort of keep the numbers down at the other end recently.
Yeah, absolutely. Just very quickly before coming back to the point, I think Matt's absolutely correct. I do think the difference is that last time when we had massive amounts of injuries, it was pretty much like a second string set of injuries. Like we still had basically the first 11 we expected, apart from Ouattara playing as the striker, but it meant that when everyone else came back, it was still the same players starting every game. And so every match, they were far more tired than they should have been from early on. Whereas I think this time around, it's a bit more of a mixed bag. We've had quite a lot of first teamers that have been like first choice names have been out, which means that, okay, they've got to get back up to speed. But hopefully it means that we'll actually be in a slightly better position than we did last season. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. With regards to James Hill, I think the real frustration that I had with him towards the start of the season was like Mo Salah's fourth goal against Liverpool. That doesn't happen if he actually decides to put on the afterburners, considering he was the freshest player on the pitch and he allows Mo Salah to score that goal. There was another match where he came on not too long after that, where again isn't aware, doesn't make the right decision, is lazy, and we either concede or almost concede a goal. And just from those couple of instances, I was like, he's got a mentality issue right now. He needs to fix that. And he was rightly dropped when Diakite and Milosavljevic were available. Whereas now he gets his chance and he is showing exactly what he is capable of. Towards the end of last season, he was, any time he came on the pitch, and particularly his performances as a right back, were fantastic. And I think that what he's showing at the moment is not only, well, I think there's an element of Senesi helps make him look good as well. It's easy to underestimate how good Senesi has been this season because he has been fantastic, and he absolutely helps make his partner look better by taking the responsibility of being the playmaker off him, and just has decent positioning, and it allows Hill to just focus on defending, and he does it really, really well. But his playmaking is actually better than we give him credit for. He's got 3 assists this season, and bearing in mind that he's only played in he's had 8 starts recently, and he's had a couple of other appearances. Like it's pretty darn good numbers. You consider Marcos Senesi has got 4 assists, and Hill's got 3. One of them was obviously the header against Everton, but he's got decent ability on the ball. And he's got to thank Rayan for his second assist, obviously, when draking it past Luca Dean, who was standing still. But the guy's got talent at this level. There's absolutely no doubt. And when you look at Diakite, has struggled to adapt. When you look at Milosavljevic, who is a player that we absolutely want to be a 3rd or 4th choice player because he's still young, he's still learning the game. Hill's got some experience. He had a really, really good loan spell at Blackburn Rovers a couple of years back. And there is no reason for him to be taken out of the starting 11 right now. He has got this place through unfortunate injuries and a loss in form of Diakite. But now that he's shown how good he is, he's undroppable at this point.
And when we talk about someone who hasn't got a lot of experience, Aaron, let's talk about him. The guy from Vasco, he is the best third teenager to have an impact in the Premier League. And his numbers, his numbers are decent already. 3 goal contributions in 3 Premier League games. And he's in an exclusive club with Anthony Martial and Robbie Keane. Because the concern was, Aaron, Semenyo going out the door, our main goal threat, all the numbers he had brought us. There was a concern there. Rayan comes in with all this potential. You quickly go over to YouTube. You can't take it for everything that it is on YouTube, but you know that you can get some sort of an idea on what you're getting. I had this little belief inside of me, Aaron, that we were getting someone that was ready for battle because he's come from Vasco and Brazil. You know, that's got to be a tough environment to play in. What I love about him is he's comfortable on both sides with his feet. He's decent in the air, already got a goal. He scored with his right foot. Even more impressive, and I know he made the mistake with naivety in the penalty area, but his 87% of making the right decision on the ball, the way he protects the ball with his body for 19 years old and makes the right decision when to keep it short or when to go or when to front up a fullback. This guy is playing like he's been around for a long time. I don't want to get carried away, like I said in the previous video, but I am getting carried away. This guy on our books, I can't quite believe we've got him, Aaron.
He's also got magical powers because he freezes the fullback as he runs past him that he can't move.
What defend him? I mean, Luca Dean should retire after that.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Odd. Very odd. But look, we were all very excited, certainly in this household, when it was like he's going to cut. We were after this guy. And then it was like, Vasco were playing hardball and it looked like it might not happen. And but the biggest compliment is that the whole footballing world is now saying Bournemouth have done it again. Here we go. Semenyo's gone and they've done it again. They brought in this, obviously he's not a nobody. But I mean, I hadn't heard of him a few weeks ago. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to profess to know about him. And we brought in this 19-year-old kid again for not that much money. And as you say, he seems to have all the attributes. He's got, physical ability, which we desperately need with Semenyo going. As you say, right foot, left foot, and header. That's 3 great attributes. He's quick, he's strong, and I personally still don't think he's anywhere near what he can do. There's obviously he had a cameo against Wolves, which was great. The worst team in the league. Obviously, they were tasting the game, so that was perfect for him to come on. Against Villa, obviously scored a great goal, albeit the fullback Dini, as you say, didn't really do much to stop him, but. And he had a couple of good runs, but he's still learning. And against Everton, again, he turns up in moments and he did brilliantly. But I still think there's more to come from him. I still think he's got the ability to take on and rinse his man every single time. And he hasn't been doing that the whole time. The one time against Everton, he went on the outside and he should have, potentially could have got a penalty, which wasn't given. But sometimes he's playing it a bit safe, and I understand the retention of the ball, etc. I think there's so much more to come from him, and it is very, very exciting. And now we can put the ball in the box finally. We've got someone who can actually head the blooming ball, because no one else has been able to do that. Unal is supposed to do that, but he's as John said, he's not anywhere near good enough. But now we got that ability, and as I said, he can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can go on his left, he can go on his right. He's quick. He's young, naive, not that naive for that penalty. We can all forgive him that. He'll learn his lesson very quickly, but. Very exciting, and he's got a massive release clause as well, which is very helpful.
Yeah, and when Bill Foley came in, Matt, he said he wanted to change things in regards to he wanted the team to be exciting on the pitch, and that's why we changed to Andoni Iraola and safe standing now in some sections of the stadium. More to come, I'm sure, with the upgrade of Dean Court, and a player like Rayan does get you off your seat if you are sitting on it. For me, my only negative in the back of my head, why have they put a release clause in? 100 million. What are they thinking? That's way too low.
Yeah, there has to be balance to that, doesn't there? Because if it's too high, then the agent and the player push back, and he doesn't come to AFC Bournemouth, does he? Because we've priced him out of a realistic move. Because let's be honest, as we said on the previous stream, we can't avoid being a stepping stone club in many ways for the big boys of the world football. We've all got to be happy with that. If we can get some success in the process and become a bigger club, then we've got to be happy with that. But I just love going back to Rayan himself. The attitude, I mean, first and foremost, the attitude he gives away that penalty on a game in the Premier League that's live for the whole world to see. There's 60, well, whatever it was, 50-odd thousand fans at the Hill Dickinson. He's 19 years old. He's just come to the division. Spotlight on him. He does that. His response was phenomenal because a lesser character at that age would have gone right into their shell and they'd have probably wanted to come off the football pitch, to be honest, because he's given away, which was a little bit embarrassing for him. And it was a poor penalty to give away. But his response to that, his attitude and his response, the way he responded and got the goal the way he did, was absolutely phenomenal. That speaks volumes of the man, the person, the characters, because it's all very well having the technical ability. You've got to have a lot more than that, haven't you, to be successful, particularly coming to a new league, the Premier League, the hardest league in the world, a lot would say. It spoke volumes for me that it was such a emphatic response. And regarding his goal, I mean, I know, Aaron, you said Dean, you didn't know what to. I think the only defence I can have for Dina is he didn't know whether he knew if he dived in, he was going to leave him for dust. So he really didn't know what to do with him. He had him on toast, didn't he? Really? Yes, it was horrendous, and it looked horrendously bad defending. But again, you have to credit Rayan there for the way that he ran at him aggressively, a bit like we used to see from Semenyo. So he is a direct Semenyo replacement, and then he offers that finish straight into the bottom corner, bang, and that is exactly what we need for him to hit the ground running. In a Semenyo-like way is exactly what he's done. And you know, when you look on social media and you look at all these fans of other big clubs waxing lyrical about the fact that Bournemouth have bought this player, how have we missed him is all they're saying. You know, you look at Everton fans, Tottenham fans, they're all at it. They're saying, how did Bournemouth get a player like this attracted to their football club and we've missed him? Because it's exactly what we need right now, the exact profile of the player that we need in our clubs, so clubs that are far bigger than us. And we got him for half the money that we brought in for or received for Semenyo. So it's an incredible bit of business, and it's incredible to have him here. There's so much more to come, like Aaron's already pointed out. This is just the beginning. He's going to be a big start. Yes, it's frustrating, Kurt, going back to your point about the release clause, but we just have to accept that is the club that we are, and that's the pool that we're fishing in, and we're going to have to accept, because we are. I think Simon Kay said it, didn't he, on the last stream? We are a talent, elite talent, young talent gateway for players to come now. We've got that reputation. You know, players can see it with the likes of Dean Housen. We've opened that pathway now. So, you know, so be it. We've just got to keep the conveyor belt rolling, haven't we? And get some success ourselves along the way.
Yeah. This is the thing that you're absolutely correct on, but it is the thing that we need to be careful of as well, obviously, because, I mean, you know, Brighton have kind of slowed down in that, and other teams have come up, been that kind of, like Southampton is probably the main example. Like they were hit after hit after hit after hit of young players, and then when they couldn't find the right young players to replace the ones they sold, they fell off and went down after 2 seasons. So so like the difficulty is that there, because of the size of club we have and because of the size of teams we're going up against, there just is no way for us not to become,
let's be honest,
stepping stone club. It's just impossible unless we went and started winning trophies. And let's be honest, if we win one in the next 20 years, we'll be absolutely thrilled, because we've never won one before. Well, not one of the big ones, not one that other Premier League clubs will respect anyway. So the only
it didn't work for Palace, though, did it?
True, but they did completely under-support Glasner, and that is the one thing that Iraola cannot say. Is that the one thing this club has done fantastically is absolutely back Iraola in every single market they have bought, and they have bought well, and that is the thing that, fingers crossed. You talk about the E word. I think that is the only way, or one of the. I think that's. If we were to get that would be an indication for Iraola to stay, I think, because the fact that we haven't heard anything apart from small rumors here and there about his new contract, it still concerns me. But if we were to hit Europe and the environment that he has here, I would be amazed if he walked at the end of this year. Having said that, 12 games to go or whatever it is, there's still a fair bit of the season to get through.
Yeah, and I think we'll come back to this. Hopefully, we'll still be in the conversation right to the end this season. But I think there is something like, well, there's 12 games to go, but I think we've got to win something like 6 6, 7. I'm not going to do it. 6 or 7 games. I did it last time as well, didn't I? Sorry. I think you got to get to around 60 points. I mean, Brentford are only 20 points off that. We know that I think 7th's going to come into play, potentially 8th, but we'll revisit this nearer the time when we know how the dynamics are going to work out. Just to go back to Luca Dean's defending that Matt brought up, and I just think he was scared. I just think he didn't know what to do, like Matt said. But what was more funny than his actual defending, though, was him blaming Tyrone Mings. I thought that was quite funny as well. So didn't even blame himself.
No.
So interesting stuff. So more to come from Rayan. Hopefully settled very quickly. His English not great, but even Nilsson supporting him with that. More to come, but it seems like he's dealing with the pressure very nicely, and it's not made us really think about Semenyo so far. So that's absolutely what we want. Now, in the YouTube live stream that we're doing, I did put a poll out. And hopefully you guys got the votes in. There have been 22 votes. And I just put, which player has been your standout performer inside our current unbeaten form, guys? I put inside there, Adli's got 9%. Alex Scott got 27% of the vote. Rayan's only got 18%. So that's interesting. But someone who's ran away with this one, Aaron, is Alex Jimenez, who has triggered his full-time deal with the Cherries. He's got 45% in the poll, signed a new deal. So with us in such a positive moment, it's given the media team at Bournemouth to just keep pumping it out. So Alex Jimenez signed on a 5-year deal to 2031, 16 to 20 million pounds, split between Milan and Real Madrid, I think. Absolute steal. So I'll get your thoughts on that, Aaron. And Bournemouth didn't take too long to also say, by the way, Smudge has got another year as well.
Yeah, look, it's a steal beyond belief. I think I said it on the last stream. I think this guy could end up being one of the best right backs in the world, and I don't say that lightly, because I think he has got everything about him for a young kid. He's brilliant going forward. We've played him as a winger for a lot of the last few games, for heaven's sake, because we've been short in that department. He's excellent going forward. He's obviously not a tall guy, but he's strong. He's stocky. He's got a low sense of gravity. Defensively, he's getting better and better. He's passionate. He's just got absolutely everything. And along with a number of our current, probably a handful of our current players at the moment, I don't know how long we can keep the guy. And it's a repetitive situation, because it's God, could you imagine seeing him with Kirkes on the opposite flank last season if he'd have been playing right back? That would have been incredible. Yeah, he's brilliant. Absolutely love him. He finishes every game, looks like he's done his hamstring, and then he comes back 5 minutes later and he's absolutely fine. And I'm hoping that continues, and it's just cramp. He gives absolutely everything. He's absolutely brilliant. And I also think, it's great news about Smudge for me, because look, this is the first season where he hasn't been our first choice right back. Having said that, I still think he can do a job every single game he's played. Bar a couple of small errors, he's been outstanding again. He just gets better with age, and I think it's testament to him, and it's great for the club and for Adam Smith, to be fair, that he's got another year, and that's great for us, because we know he can do a job. Hopefully Jimenez is here for at least the whole of next season, if not longer. But we've got someone there as well. And just a quick shout out, because I actually voted in that poll. I voted for Alex Scott. Nothing against him, and everything I just said about Jimenez holds true, and he rightly won it. I thought Alex Scott is getting better and better. And there's another player I'm worried about in the summer now as well, because it's just, I just want to keep some of these players. We've made a lot of money. We have reinvested it. But, for me, you sell one or two, one player, maybe two a season, like a Solanke when we sold him, Semenyo this season. I just don't think we can end the season selling Scott and Krupi. I guess it won't be Rayan or Jimenez because they've just signed. They'll probably be the summer after. But yeah, look, it's, as Matt said, that's the model. We got to accept it, but let's just try and keep this squad of players together for at least the whole of next season and see what we can do.
Yeah, because I think there was a mistake last summer. Too many players in similar positions left the door. I understand it's a difficult job to do for Pinto, Francis, Bill Foley, but I'm sure the direction of the club will be that can't happen. We understand what we are, as Matt's spoken about as well. There will be a player, 2 maximum for me, inside the 11 that go. bring them in, bring new players in, and then we need to keep, revolving the squad as well.
There's no doubt for me. I mean, sorry, John mentioned him earlier. Tort, for me, Tort is been brought in to eventually place Alex Scott, but I don't think he's not ready yet. I think the whole of next season potentially.
Alex Scott took a while to get going, so. Very much looking forward to it. Very, very quickly as well, Matt, then before we move on to guest a player halfway through this stream, because I know you're looking forward to that, Matt. I had this vision of Adam Smith and Lewis Cook. Obviously they're in partnership as a business deal. I'm like a little espresso when Bournemouth released that Jimenez has signed a new deal, going to each other. About time they sorted it out. I can finally take my foot off the gas at right back, although I suspect, Matt, Smudge won't do that.
He won't, but I think the key factor in Smudge signing another year is what he gives you in the dressing room, not just on the football pitch. He knows the club inside out. He's a very, very senior player. He's been there so many years now. So it's what he offers the players and the squad within those four walls, as well as what he can do. Yes, he can still do a job out on the pitch, but it's what he gives you in the dressing room, his leadership qualities and everything about him from that aspect as well. So yeah, just picking up on the point that we've all made so far about players coming in and out of the club, and I think going back to what John was saying, I think Athletic Club is the one for Andoni. I think one day they could come calling at the end of the season, but does it have to be now? I think John's absolutely spot on. I think there's part of Andoni that wants to see this project through, and that would be European football and a completed stadium of over 20,000 seats, and to see both of those things come to fruition. I would like to think that he would like to stay until that has happened, until he's achieved those things, because Athletic Club won't go away. One day he's destined to go there and do whatever he wants to do. I think he is destined to go back to Spain and manage at the very highest level. He could even be their national team manager one day. Who knows? But I don't see him going to a club. People are saying, I reckon he'll go to Spurs. To me, no way. Why would he go? That would be his career suicide. No way does he go there. And I think there's a lot of other clubs where he'd think twice. Chelsea would be another one. There'd be very few clubs in this country, I think, that he would go to. A, that would maybe have him at this point in time, and B, that he would go to. So I know we'll come on and speak about this in due course, Kirk. But I'd like to think that he'll want to see that through to fruition. European football, the new stadium, and everything about the project that that was outlined to him at the outset. He's that sort of man, I think.
Yeah, and I've said this before. I don't think Andoni is fully driven by money. I mean, of course, everyone wants to earn lots of money. Of course they do. But I don't think he's fully driven. He's not driven to get to that ultimate destination for me in rapid time. He is definitely going on a journey like he has in his previous jobs. I know the connection he's got to Bilbao, and I'm not being disrespectful, but I just don't see that as a sensible move right now. I know they've got a lovely stadium, etc., but for me, there's only one or two clubs you go back to Spain for. He's progressing so much in the Premier League. I don't want to see him manage another Premier League side, but you're in the best league in the world. And like you say, he's already notched up so many records and stats already, taken a lot of what Eddie Howe obviously sort of achieved. But the ultimate, if he gets this club into Europe, this guy is an ultimate legend. He will absolutely go down in legendary status. And if he can do that with the stadium being increased as well, I think and I think like John said, I think Europe's the final temptation. I think if we get there, I think that could be the deal breaker. And I'm 50-50. I was sort of 75-25.
He's obviously he's waiting for something. I think like something was brewing last week when Bill Foley was over, and he was kind of smart, and it's gone a bit quiet again. And I just think he's very. He won't break a contract, so he has to be very sure that he's going to make the right decision. But
the players are playing for him at the moment, which was a concern in January. Well, how are we going to sign players? Because who's going to play for a coach that's not even committed themselves? But I think Andoni's pretty square with everyone, and I think if there's a chance that he could stay, he's probably saying to the players, my destination next season's not decided yet. So the players need to convince him this is where he needs to be. And I think one or two more seasons, I think I'm now 50-50. I'm moving towards even more, in our favour. But let's stay at 50-50. Right, we'll talk about this more, and especially if we keep winning football matches and we keep in touch with 7th, it'll get even more interesting. So we've got guest player coming up in a few moments, but you can support the channel on this stream by hitting the like button. Do hit the like button. It does help this video grow between now and Saturday. Do subscribe if you're new around here. Hit the notification bell as well so you don't miss anything on Cherries Red Army. And you can also support the channel financially. We have StreamYard. We've got CapCut that we use for our editing. We've got photo editing apps that we use. We've got admin controls that we need. So all your support does go towards running this channel. Everything that goes in, comes in, stays in, is what I'm saying. And this is how you can do it. Details in the description. So yeah, thank you to our monthly members and anyone who donates. Do go into the description at the end of this video, click the link, and it should take you straight to buymeacoffee.com/Cherries Red Army. You can donate for as little as £3 or £5, and you can become a monthly member for as little as £3. Thank you very much. Right, guys, let's get on with it. So let's play Guess the Player. If you're new to this, I'm going to give you some clues. You can get involved in the chat. You're going to have to be very, very quick with your answers. I'm going to give you some clues. I'll speak to Aaron, Matt, John. I don't know if John, he's got a bit of admin, so he might be able to see behind the scenes what's going on here. If you can see what's going on, John, and you can see the player that it is, don't give it away.
I can't, so don't worry about it.
That's wonderful. Right, so the clues we've got, and Matt loves this. So the clues we've got is the former Cherry was born in 1986. Some of the clubs he played for, if I can read this right, is Bournemouth, Portsmouth, and I think that's Colchester and Chesterfield. It's quite small on the screen where I'm looking. He's had over 200 plus appearances for the Cherries and scored 9 Premier League goals for the Cherries as well. Now, I am trying to make this harder week on week. No cheating in the chat. I know I can't see you at home or wherever you're watching, but no cheating, no using Google. Just have a really good go. Matt, any thoughts so far? Bearing in mind, I haven't got any more clues, by the way. This is all you're getting off me.
Blimey, yeah, for a change, Kirk. No, I haven't actually. There's nothing that.
What are the 4 clubs? I can't see them.
No, I can't quite see them.
So I think it's Bournemouth, Portsmouth, Colchester United, and I think Chesterfield as well.
Yeah, that's Chesterfield. Yeah.
Yeah. There are 3 other clubs he's played for, which I've obviously hidden. So,
he's
Aaron?
40 years old, this guy. 40. I know Fletchley for Chesterfield, but he scored a lot more than 9 goals, and he's a lot older than 40 as well. Nothing immediately springs.
That's 9 Premier League goals as well, mind.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Premier League, Chesterfield. Nothing springs to mind at the moment. Do we get any other clues at all?
I can give you. I think he played for Shrewsbury as well.
Bloody hell.
Yeah,
that's giving it away. That's giving it away if that's who I think it is. I have to say the first name that I came up with was Steve Cook because I thought it had to be a defender, but that's a little bit too. That's just not quite it, and I don't think he played for Portsmouth. He might have played some other, but you saying Shrewsbury has made me think of another defender.
I think he played for Shrewsbury.
I'm fairly confident is correct because I'm pretty sure I remember him playing for Portsmouth.
Get your guesses in the chat because John might get this. So what you think?
I'll leave it a bit long. But if this is the only edition, then I'll come up. Then I'll say who I think once a few names.
So I think you've got 2 in mind now when you're thinking about Shrewsbury. I think you've got 2 in mind.
No, there's one very definite player in my mind right now.
I'm trying to think about what also I can give away. We've got no guesses in the chat. I don't know whether the chat's a bit slow this evening. I'm not too sure. Go on, Aaron.
It might be thinking of is it a fullback, John? Left back, maybe?
Yeah, left back in particular.
Yeah,
this is where I said
he may or may not.
He had a good relationship with that player for a start. I think
it's not Mark Pugh, and this is probably the first time Mark Cole's ever been wrong on any quiz on Cherries Red Army. He had
a good relationship with Mark Pugh, though. If it's the guy I'm thinking about,
yeah,
go on then, Aaron.
He may be involved in management currently.
Yeah, Charlie Daniels. I didn't know he played for
number 11.
I remember Portsmouth.
No, I knew he was Leighton Orient. He was at Leighton Orient. We got him from.
That would be one of the clubs that potentially I didn't show. So, Mark.
Oh, he's 40.
Davies.
Charlie Daniels is 40. God.
Yeah.
It's gone it's gone
Chaz Daniels.
Yep. And Man City Screamer says Josh K. So your guest player, and Josh K was desperate for this to come back on this stream, is, and John was all the way correct, Charlie Daniels.
9
Good
Premier League goals. Well, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Not a bad goal against Manchester City, right, Matt?
Well, I remember that. I remember Newcastle got a good one at Newcastle.
Yeah, I was there for that one.
Yeah.
He got against Chelsea as well, didn't he? In the 4-0.
Matt, best Premier League goal ever for us.
Oh yeah, it was absolute sweet as a nut, wasn't it? The way he hit it, and it went. It's just a shame we ended up losing the game. No, we lost the game in the last minute though that day, didn't we?
God, I was sat in a pub in Manchester watching that game.
Yeah,
when that Sterling goal got deflected off. Who was it deflected off? Sermon.
I think it was. Yeah.
There was
97.
It was a debatable goal, wasn't it? They took the free kick quickly from somewhere. Wasn't supposed to be.
Something like that. And then Sterling got sent off for jumping into the fans and getting a second yellow card.
Right.
But it was that goal was I mean, the only one that comes close is from that season. I want to say it's from the same season. Was the season before? Matt Ritchie against Sunderland.
Yeah, season before.
That was our first season, wasn't it? Yeah. That's the only goal that comes close
against Sunderland.
The aesthetics of that goal. Are just unreal. How cleanly he hits that. That would still be moving today if the stadium wasn't there. It was just so nice.
And that goal against Sunderland, the way he tilted his chest to specifically put it in.
That was a hell of a goal.
That was a brilliant goal.
Although,
right behind that.
Although Aaron, I do feel like Justin Kluivert every now and again wants to put himself in the conversation.
Newcastle and Nottingham Forest, both gorgeous goals.
And Fulham this season.
He's one goal.
So, yes, the player was an interesting one this week. So that was Charlie Daniels, former left back for the Cherries, and now going into some sort of management as well. Right, time to turn our attentions to this weekend, which is a 5:30 kickoff at the London Stadium. I can't go because it's my birthday and my wife's treating me, so I'm going to have to keep up with the score. All right, but a few of the guys
should be treating you to a game at the London Stadium for your birthday.
I know.
That's a punishment.
She said any other stadium she would have took me. She's not taking me to that athletics track. That's what she said. So
fine. She can go shopping in Westfield then, can't she? Or Stratford?
Right, so let's turn our attentions to West Ham United, but please do support the channel. Annoyingly, Aaron, Nuno's got a little bit of a tune out of them of late, and they will go into this with a little bit of confidence. We'll look at the team that played against Manchester United last time out, which they nearly beat them, didn't they? United scored very, very late in that fixture. They have got some tricky players. Somerville's in form. Bowen, we know, can hurt us. And Soucek, I think, is a tricky guy to deal with, especially in the air. But they seem to have found a little bit of a tune, and they're going to need it because they're still in the relegation zone.
Yeah, look, when they lost to Wolves a few weeks ago, I thought they were down and out. I mean, losing at home to Wolves, and that was really the nail on the coffin. I think Nuno did well to survive that, actually. And what it does show is that if you do stick with a manager, don't need to jump the gun, then they might be able to turn it around, which is what he's done. I actually always thought, I still think West Ham won't go down. I still think they've probably got enough good players about them, players in form. Bowen's obviously a great player. Somerville, as you say, is in lightning form at the moment, and they got some good players all over the pitch. They've always like Wan-Bissaka. So had a lot of work to do. They have clawed those points back. They're quite close to Forest and Tottenham, which is funny. It's going to be very difficult. We've got a terrible record there anyway. I hate going there. I am going, but I hate it. And we've got an awful record. But they're in form, but we're in form as well, and there is more pressure on them. The home fans, obviously their run of forms is improved the atmosphere and the feeling around the London Stadium. But if we go a goal up, they can turn quite quickly, and the pressure's all on them. We've got a good run of form. We've got players coming back from injury. we've fresh. We've had a good week and a half, well over a week and a half's rest now, which is great for us. And yeah, we can go there with no pressure. But let them have all that pressure. They need the points desperately. And as I said before, if they get them, then I'll be gutted, but put Spurs in a lot of trouble, which is hilarious.
Yeah, not a great form guide that we have, John, at the London Stadium. I don't think we've won there since 2018. We don't have a very good record on watch-alongs either when we've done a watch-along against West Ham at the London Stadium, but we haven't got one this weekend, so don't stress too much. It looks like Burnley and Wolves are done. They're down for me. Then you've got West Ham, Forest, Tottenham, Leeds, probably then between 18th and 15th. It's one to go from that forward, you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Although, I mean, Brighton and Crystal Palace have been sleepwalking in that direction. I mean, Crystal Palace obviously got their first win in a while recently, but then lost to Burnley after being 2-0 up. And Brighton, there's more chat to be talking about the manager, I think, for Brighton, because he's getting away with it a little bit at the moment, because that is a far better squad than he's currently making them look. But yeah, I think West Ham are showing the form that will get them out of it. The teams to be worried are Forest, Tottenham, and Leeds, almost certainly. But Leeds, I actually think, have probably got enough to stay up at this point. So really, I think it's probably out of Tottenham and Forest. So that'll be an interesting one, regardless. But yeah, because I've just picked up I mean, if you were to ask your average Bournemouth fan who Bournemouth's bogey team is, I reckon most of us would say Brentford. But West Ham are right up there. I mean, our last wins against them were in the 2018-19 season, where we did the double, and since then we've played 10 times, and we've drawn 6 and lost 4. In fact, in the league, we're on 5 draws in a row against West Ham. So the smart money is on a draw, but yeah, it's just West Ham just have always played that football that we struggle with, because one of the biggest strengths of our team, and has been since the days of Eddie, is the physicality. We run our asses off, and we really get into opponents, and we force them into making mistakes, and we make them struggle. But West Ham don't care about that. If they want a physical battle, they want a physical battle. They want players to try and sort of barge up against them, because they're a team of giants that really want you to try and nudge them off the ball, because they'll just push right back. And they don't care about a press, because they're just going to hoof it long anyway. So it's not a surprise to me that we've struggled against West Ham in the way that we do. It's just a case of, can we continue to find those aspects of our game that have often looked like they've been a little bit lacking under Andoni, which is, can you create when you are the ones that are responsible for driving play? We want to be the underdogs, but we're not in this game. We're not the underdogs. So when we are responsible for, can we break down this low block? Is that possible? And it may well be the physicality of Rayan and his trickery that could unlock something from the right hand side. Malik Diouf of West Ham is apparently not having the greatest of seasons, so that'll be an interesting battle. And the other player I'd like to see if they can pull off some trickery, or the two players, I think, is Scott and Krupi. Krupi can go from anywhere, and Alex Scott has the ability to unlock space with his dribbling, not necessarily with his passing, but with his dribbling. Absolutely, he'll just jinx around someone and create and make something happen. But we can't rely on set pieces in this game, because we'll have to defend them well, and it'll be very difficult to attack by them. So it's open play goals is what we really need to be looking for.
Yeah, Matt, I'm just going to show you an image on the screen, which is sort of a predicted lineup, actually. I was going to show the lineup from the game against Manchester United, but I think Freddie Potts might be suspended or something like that.
Yes, he is.
So Matt, what you'll see through this West Ham side, and we know what Nuno's like. He doesn't have a great record against us, actually, when he was manager at Nottingham Forest. But he will have them organised, and then he will rely on his new striker up top. And they did recruit 2 in January. Bowen can be a threat. As I said, Summerville seems to be the guy that's in a bit of groove, and Soucek will be difficult to deal with in certain scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, you look at their 11 now. He's now set up in a classic. This is a classic Nuno team now, where he's got pace on the wings. So he's low block, but the pressing in the wide areas and with pace. He likes to break at pace and on that counter attack. And he's now got that. That team looks to me like a classic Nuno team. And I think it is one of the plus points here, boys, is that West Ham have got to win the football match. Really, they need points. They're in a big scrap. They need to win the game, particularly their home game. So they have got to come out a little bit. So that low block, I think we've just got to manage the game very well as the game goes on. Let's see if we can, make sure that we're in the game from 1 to 90. And as the game goes on, if we're winning or level, they know that they're going to have to come out at some point and try and win it. So that could be a factor as the game goes on. But if you look at it, you know what we're going to get from Nuno. We haven't got a bad record against him as a manager in recent years. A little bit mixed, but not too bad overall, I think, from memory. So I think, they're not well beaters. They are beatable. They're always susceptible. I know he's tightened them up at the back, but they always look susceptible to concede goals. And we carry some real threat, don't we, at the moment with what we've got on the pitch. We're creating chances and we are, in the main, scoring goals. And our away records have improved. Those last 2 wins at Wolves and Everton have been great for us. It's improved our away record no end. So I think there's no reason why we can't go there and win the game. I think it will be a tough challenge. It'll be a tight game. I still think there could be goals in it. There generally is when we play football, particularly away from home. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, we've got a poor record in recent years, but I just think going back to the relegation battle, it just feels like it's all set up for karma come the end of the season, because Marinakis gets rid of Nuno at Forest when he gets them into Europe last season. He rocks up at West Ham, and who's to say that they don't stay up at Forest's expense? And that is karma coming back to bite Marinakis big time on the backside. It's looking like, if I was a Forest fan, I'd be really worried at the moment, because they're in turmoil and they've turned to Pereira, who, let's be honest, a failure at Wolves, as their saviour to keep them up. And they just
he did get a tune out of Wolves, though, didn't he? But then it was the post tune.
Up to a point. But he went on that long run where they didn't win for a long time, and but they were in serious problems at the bottom. So not convinced about him as a manager. And is he set up to take on a relegation scrap at this stage of the season? Has he got that experience, that nous about him? Because Deitch, I think, would have kept him up. I think he would have kept him up. They've panicked after that 0-0 at home to Wolves. It's a knee-jerk reaction again for Marinakis, and he's just got rid. He's consulted with senior players, and obviously players, as we've heard time and time again, are always going to moan about the manager, particularly if things aren't going their way. So he's taken the word of senior players there, and he's got rid of him. I'd be really worried if I was a Nottingham Forest fan right now, and it's set up for an interesting finale, isn't it?
And if you are a Nottingham Forest fan watching this video, I'm not quite sure what you're doing around here yet. We're about 11 games away, but guess who you got on the last game of the season?
We're just going to say that.
At home, where you don't do very well against us. That could be an interesting fixture, potentially. Bournemouth getting into Europe.
And something to play for.
Yeah.
Bournemouth going into Europe, Forest going down. Oh, what a tasty fixture that would be. Right, let's get our heads back in the game, Aaron. Let's start looking at the potential lineup for the Cherries on Saturday. Now, I'm going to move to our football pitch that we use sometimes. Now, this was the side that started against Everton. Now, in the chat, thank you to everyone joining us live. Do get involved. We're on here for about another 10 minutes and your score predictions are coming in a moment. But in the chat, this is the lineup that started against Everton. Petrovic, Jimenez, Hill, Senesi, Truther, Christie, Scott, Tort, Adli, Rayan and Eva Nilsson. What changes would you make for Saturday, Aaron?
I bring Lewis Cook back in. I think obviously Adams is fit again, but
push Scott
won't
up?
Come straight.
Or are you pushing Christie up? You pushing Christie
I'm keeping Scott in the 8. Scott's in the 8. He's been the best, my best player in the last few games in the 8. He wasn't as effective against Everton. So I would bring Cook in. I agree with Matt that Adams will probably come in sooner rather than later, but not yet. So Cook and Scott there. I would keep Rayan and Adli and Evan Nilsson as they are, because I think at the moment Tav, even if Tav is back, he'll probably only be on the bench, and Brooks will stay on the bench as well. Big question is, for me, Talk will come out of the team. Nothing against him. I thought he showed in good patches against Everton, more effective, what a player he can be. But he'll come out, and then the question is, does Krupi come back in number 10, or does Christie move forward and play that position? But I'm not sure about that, because I want to see Ryan Christie in his team as well, and I also do like having Krupi coming off the bench. I like options off the bench, but I also can see why Krupi should be in starting as well. So I don't know, Krupi or Christie number 10.
So, mate, your one change, Matt, are you looking at the one change as well? Similar conversation?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely agree. I think I'll bring Lewis Cook back into the midfield. I think we'll need him at West Ham on Saturday in that 6th role. If Tyler Adams isn't quite ready to come straight back in, which maybe he won't be. The back four, you obviously wouldn't change at all. I think Petrovic is much improved as well in recent weeks. So there's not too many question marks about him at the moment.
Matt, is that the Mandas effect?
Yeah, 100% it is. Yeah, we said it on the last stream, didn't we? All we needed is to add competition in the goalkeeping department, and that's exactly what we've done. It's something we've been lacking for a long, long time now. Now he's got that keeper, a different type of keeper, I think, that's going to give him that challenge, that competition. I think he's responded in the main very well to it. He hasn't crumbled under the pressure. He's responded well. So I'm really, really been quite impressed with him in recent games. You know, there's still little moments, but much improved from where he was at. And again, confidence plays a massive part in that as well. And just touching on James Hill, both me and Aaron, I think a couple of streams ago, were saying that maybe he's not a long-term solution, and that he's, he switches off from time to time, which stops him from being a top-level centre-half. Well, he's shoved our words firmly down our throat, hasn't he, in recent weeks, because he's been absolutely phenomenal. And long may that continue, because it's fantastic to see.
We don't mind that, though, do we? We don't mind that
at all. We don't mind that. He's grasped it, his opportunity, and he's run with it. He seized it. He's been phenomenal. And at Everton, I thought he was absolutely outstanding.
Because I think, doing what we do on YouTube, giving opinions, I try and be fair. If I criticize someone, I'll always praise them if they turn it around. But absolutely, I don't mind if someone proves me right. Because if someone's proven me right, I'm getting more for my ticket. Watching the Cherries, we're doing well. I don't care. So I always think it's a bit weird if someone's gutted that they're wrong. So I don't mind being wrong if I get an opinion wrong.
Absolutely.
John, there are a few fans in the chat that would like to see Krupi come in. Got a new agent, come off the bench against Everton. Was having a few starts before that fixture. Scores a lot of goals. Well, he is very effective for us in attack. You're thinking, is it one change, but are you also thinking Lewis Cook in for this West Ham game?
Yeah, it's an awkward one. I would say absolutely, if you have the option, you don't play Christie and Scott together at the base, because they're both 8s. They're just, neither of them are 6s. Like, Scott has played in this. He played kind of as a 6 for the in the England under-21s, but he kind of played with Anderson, who were both kind of dual 8/6s, and they could both sort of operate in that regard. Christie doesn't want to play as deep as Scott can, and certainly not as much as Cook does. Personally, I would have Krupi in place of Christie as well in the 10. What has been interesting for me is that Christie has been phenomenally effective without necessarily having the goal and assist numbers as an impact substitute in the 10. Only through some amazing goalkeeping has he not scored more goals this season, because some of his he found his shooting boots while he was injured, because he's been producing some really nice play. Whereas Krupi, since becoming a mainstay in the side more recently, just feels like the player that, Christie's very capable. He works well on the side. He's absolutely can score a goal, can create a goal. Krupi's the stardust, though. And obviously, Rayan has come in and does amazingly well. But if a player's if we've got Rayan from the right and Krupi from the left-hand side sort of thing, as both players that could just drop a shoulder, jinx, and then just fire it into the far corner, I want that for longer. I want him to be available for 60, 70 minutes. And then Christie, I mean, absolutely nothing against Christie, but really you're looking at Cook or Adams in the 6, and you're looking at Christie or Scott in the 8. Really, those are their best positions. While Christie can play as a 10 and he can do it well, he's never really consistently been a number 10 for us. He's either been a right mid in the Championship or he's been this 8. He played a little bit as a 10 in between, but I don't mind having Christie as a 10 from the start. Absolutely not. But I do prefer Krupi from the start at the moment.
Christie affects the game a lot more, but then Krupi does what he did against Wolves out of nothing, does that, and then that gets us on our way. And maybe John. I think John's right that we need that in the team.
And Krupi will be knocking on the door before this weekend, going, "I score."
He scored
8. I score quite a few effective goals on the road. He does quite well on the road for goals. So he scores. Yeah.
Let's put square pegs in square holes. I think I agree with John. Christie's not as effective in the 10 as he is in the 8, but Krupi can play that 10 role very well. So let's go with that.
Christie coming on last 30 with the energy and his ball attention.
His energy, which we may need.
Impressed me about Christie is that how much impact he has had when coming off the bench, because that's not how I see Christie, but he's really been quite impressive.
Driving forward.
Yeah.
Quick one here from Steve Connor says we need to be starting Krupi if we want any chance of keeping him in the summer. Well, as I said, he's got a new agent, so we need to play that delicately. Again, he needs to be aware. Yeah, he needs to be aware. I don't see Krupi leaving in the summer, but like we spoke about earlier,
we'll go in January for £100 million, won't he? Let's face it.
Okay, right. Good stream, but we're not done yet. So let's get your score predictions in the chat now. You've got a minute and a half. So West Ham are taking on the Cherries at the London Stadium on Saturday. What is your score prediction? Go now. While you're doing that, let's have a look at the other fixtures in the Premier League if it does interest anyone currently watching right now. So we have got Wolves taking on Aston Villa on Friday night. Is that right? Because
that's next week. That's next week.
I've got the wrong week. Let's get the right week, shall we? I was going to say they're playing tonight. How's that worked? Right. Yeah. Let's go. I should have known. That's the 21st Feb. It's my birthday. I haven't mentioned that, have I? So just in case anyone wants to say happy birthday to me in the chat before this stream ends, 21st February. Aston Villa taking on Leeds.
41.
I'm now 41, older than Charlie Daniels. Aston Villa taking on Leeds, Brentford taking on Brighton, Chelsea versus Burnley, West Ham taking on Bournemouth, Manchester City against Newcastle. Oh, interesting fixture, that one. Crystal Palace against Wolves, Nottingham Forest taking on Liverpool, Sunderland against Fulham, Tottenham against Arsenal, and Everton taking on Manchester United in the Monday night game. Right, let's start going around the room. It looks like the chat is starting to get busy with scores. John, how are you seeing this one play out, mate?
I'm loving the confidence of the chat. I think for me, I think the pattern continues. I'm taking the smart money and I'm going for the draw. I just think that really a point away at West Ham, despite their position in the table, would be a really good point. They were very, very unlucky to not get anything against Chelsea, and if they had, they'd be on a longer unbeaten stretch than us. I want to say, I think they'd be on 7, just off the top of my head. But their form is really good, and as I've said, they're the kind of team we struggle against, consistently, and I really don't mind getting a point. If we were to win, though, talking about the away at Everton being a marker for the season, beating West Ham, who are up there as one of the most informed teams. We are, of course, the most informed team in the division at the moment, along with Man United. But if we were to beat West Ham, that would send a huge message about how good we can be and how high we can get in this table. Because and certainly if we do want to see if we can push for that 7th or 8th place and nick a European spot, it's games like this that really sort of give you that extra boost for the rest of the season.
Matt, I think you're going, correct?
Correct.
Right. Okay. So how are you feeling about the fixture whilst you're standing there with your binoculars?
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think everything points towards a draw, if I'm honest. I think the fact that both teams are in such good form, it's a more important game, I would say, for West Ham than it is for us, but it's still very, very important for us. I think that the onus is more on them as well as the home team with the situation they're in to win the game, which plays into our favour a little bit. But I just think at the moment it does point towards a draw. There's a big part of me feels that we can nick it. I think if there's one goal in it, either way, I think we can certainly go there and nick it. But I would say I would go for an entertaining 2-2 draw if I was a neutral. But as a Bournemouth fan, always positive, so I'm going 3-2.
Right, I'm gonna go in now before Aaron sees us around the table. How can I not? How can I not, guys? Like on my day, I've got to go for the famous. I'm going to go for it. 3-1. I'm gonna take it.
That would be
Sammy.
huge.
So, got to have it. Although, if it's not that, I just want a birthday win. That's all I want, Ches. So just give us 3 cherries. That'll be absolutely. Stephen Dyer's gone for a 3-2. Ben is giving Petrovic a clean sheet. Bogey team or not, they're still not good enough. 2-0. Mark Cole's going for a 2-1 away win. Steve Connor's going for 3-1, the famous, saying Rayan is a cheat code. 4-2 to the Cherries from Chris. Josh needs 3 points to push us towards Europe. 3-1, the famous. And yes, Aaron, bring it home. You're also going.
I agree with Matt. I think it'll be a Desmond 2-2. I think I don't think we'll lose. You know, we've only lost 7 games all season. I keep harping on about that. We do not lose many games of football this season. We've drawn a lot. And I think this will be another draw. I think West Ham, as Matt said, with their run of fixtures coming up after us, they will see this as a must-win for them. It's a huge game. So they'll be fighting tooth and nail. Not that we won't, but I think we will have too much quality for them to beat us. So 2-2.
Brilliant. Love it. Thank you so much for the stream, guys. It's been an interesting one. It's been good to get back on it. I know we don't do it every single week, but we do get on these live streams when we absolutely can. John, your final message to the fans. It's been a really good week for Cherries Red Army.
Yeah, great week for the channel. It's been, and despite no Bournemouth playing football, at least not the men's anyway. Women are currently playing at the moment. Thank you to everyone that's subscribing and supporting the channel. It really does help because there are costs. Unfortunately, it's not as easy as just booting up your computer and starting a stream. Fingers crossed for Saturday. Looking forward to to seeing them back out on the pitch. And as much as I expect a draw, absolutely keeping my fingers crossed for a win.
Safe travels to anyone going to the London Stadium this weekend, and the same to you, Matt. Your final message on this stream. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just thanks to everyone. It's fantastic to see, and it's fantastic. I always say it, but I just love coming on air and debating football and talking about AFC Bournemouth. And the more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned, as far as we're concerned. It's just great to see the channel growing the way it is, with international fans as well, not just fans from the UK, fans from all over the world. For whatever reason that might be, you might want to just subscribe to follow the progress of Rayan, or you'll become a bit of a Bournemouth fan now because he's in the side. Whatever the reason, it's great to have you, and it's great to talk football and great to talk Cherries with you all. So thanks to everybody. It's really appreciated, and onwards and upwards.
Thank you for the birthday messages in the chat. I'll expect to get one from Aaron on Saturday morning. Aaron, your final message to the fans. I hope you and your boys have a good trip on Saturday.
Look forward to seeing everyone who's going to the London Stadium. Thank you to all the fans watching. You really make this great. And to the Brazilian fans watching, a gente se ve no London Stadium.
You just looked that up, haven't you?
I did. Of course, I looked it up. I looked it up. Google, see you at London Stadium. That's what came out.
Fair enough.
They're going to appreciate it. We just got 12 new subscribers in the last second, so there you go.
And under your Cherries Red Army contract, I'm booking you in for some training with John on how to speak like that. So thank you so much. Good to have you back on. Right. yeah, we'll be back as soon as we can. We've of course got Sunderland coming after that. I'll try and do a vlog. That's Dean Court, 12:30. Sorry to the Sunderland fans, not our fault by the way, but that's hilarious. We'll talk about that potentially. So we'll get on the stream soon. But anyone who is following the Cherries around the world this Saturday, get behind the team. If we get another 3 points, continue this unbeaten run, we are going to continue to stay in the conversation. Don't say it. Oh, sod it. We're in the conversation for Europe. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. See you soon. Up the Chairs.
Up the Cherries.
You Reds.
Up the Cherries.